They believe that Southampton they earned that result in that one against Everton. I thought they controlled possession really well in certain moments, and they took advantage of the opportunity when it came late to Adam Armstrong. And if you're Everton, that's a bad loss to suffer. Obviously going away to St. Mary's is bad, but this is a Southampton team that, has been pretty darn awful so far in the Premier League. Just from their standards, just from the Premier League standards this season, they're sitting, 10th place with 4 points. They were at a point before this one. It tells the story there. Wolves Crystal Palace finished 2-2. Fulham got a 2-1 win over Brentford. A little bit surprised about that one. The big games was these two that I didn't discuss. Tottenham, first of all, 4-1 win over Aston Villa. Great result for Tottenham. Really, really good results for Tottenham. You go back to last week, they had the disappointing result that Tottenham suffered with the loss to Crystal Palace. It was Crystal Palace's first victory this season. Now to bounce back, to go up against Villa, to control the game in certain periods, to create some really good opportunities, to have a 6 shots on target to Aston Villa's 1, and for players like Dominic Solanke to get on the score sheet twice. James Maddison, wonderful free kick as well. Brilliant victory for Tottenham. Brilliant, and potentially, it's a double victory because, right now Tottenham they're not up there, but down the line if they can start building a consistency with the level of performances we've seen from them, this could be a big victory for them because not only they get 3 points, but they're taking the points off the board for Aston Villa, who's a direct competitor. And then it was the Bournemouth game against City. Bournemouth, they took out the 2 title contenders these 2 weeks. 2 wins for them, both at home. This time, no red card needed. They're able to get the 2-1 win over Manchester City. They take the lead early with Semenyo. Really good touch by him to control that, by the way. Guardiola was able to equalize late on. Not Guardiola. Evan Nielsen was able to get the second in the 64th minute. Guardiola was able to half the deficit, but it was a little too late. And I have to say, don't let the stats fool you. I thought Bournemouth was deserving victory. I thought Bournemouth, Manchester City were sloppy at certain periods, sloppy defending. There was a moment where Kyle Walker slipped and almost allowed Semenyo in behind. There was other moments that they didn't look tight, no cohesion. And, City has deserved a bad performance here and there. It happens. But, yeah, that was a bad loss to Bournemouth. And, the fact that Arsenal lost makes it, a little bit more sour because you could, winning that game, you could nail almost a final coffin on Arsenal's title hopes, as crazy as it say this early in the season. But yeah, if you're City, you're not panicking too much about that, and you just continue on with your season and you try to continue building some sort of momentum. Short break here coming up. When we come back, we will do a full preview of tomorrow's Champions League fixtures.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Before the break, we did a full reaction to this weekend's Premier League fixtures. We move on to do a preview of Tuesday's Champions League fixtures. Some good ties coming up on Tuesday. Technically, I was going to say tomorrow, but technically it's today. We're past midnight. Some of the games, not the biggest games. You have Slovan Bratislava taking on Dinamo Zagreb. Bratislava, they haven't picked up a single point so far in the Champions League. And Dinamo Zagreb, you know, they need to get a victory as well if they want to have any sort of hope to do anything. So, yeah, that will be an interesting one. I think Zagreb will get it done there. Dortmund take on Sturm Graz. Borussia Dortmund, I think, will have a really, really good attack that's able to score goals. We've seen what they've been able to do this Champions League so far. They've been really efficient. They've been really determined, and they're a completely different team while playing at home. So I think Sturm Graz doesn't have much of a chance in that one. PSV take on Girona. Girona, they were able to beat Slovan Bratislava, which was their first victory of this league. PSV, they picked up 2 points so far. They had a draw with PSG. Now they take on Girona. I think it's pretty evenly battle game. I'm going to go with probably a draw on that one. Celtic take on Leipzig. Leipzig, they haven't earned a single point. It's now or never for them. Keep in mind, this is a team that came in as pot 1 of the Champions League. So there's obviously, there's some expectations there. When you are a pot 1 team, you get an easier draw. You're a pot 1 team for a reason. You're considered one of the bigger teams in Europe. Well, it's time for them to pay UEFA for having them that high. Now, obviously, it's based on coefficients and all that. It's not really UEFA that decides. But RB Leipzig, they need to step it up here. It's now or never. Things are slowly slipping away. Now, the thing about this Champions League group phase is it's pretty generous. If you get, I believe you get to the 23rd spot, or 24th spot, you get a potential, playoff essentially to get into the round of 16. So, these games still matter. Even if you're a Leipzig team that hasn't got a single point so far, this game will matter. Lille take on Juventus. Lille, they've pulled off some upsets against Atletico Madrid, against Real Madrid. Now going up against Juventus, why not again? This time Lille will be playing at home. Juventus, they lack that little bit of quality in attack. Lille, I think they defend really, really well, and they take advantage of the opportunities when they come. It really depends on, I think this game could go either way. And I'm looking forward to that as well. The fact that it's in France, we're going to see this Juventus team now play under a little bit of pressure, in a crowd, in a tense environment. Let's see how these players respond to it. But I think I'm going to give Lille the slight favorite because from what they've done in this Champions League, they deserve my respect. Liverpool take... wait a minute. Is that tomorrow? Is that on Tuesday or is that a Wednesday game? Okay. Okay, so Liverpool, they take on Leverkusen. Liverpool, they're going to be welcoming back Xavi Alonso at Anfield, former great of Liverpool. This is going to be an exciting fixture. I think Leverkusen, though, if you told me last year's Leverkusen, I would have been extremely pumped. But this is a Leverkusen team. They've been a little bit weaker so far. They've already dropped points in 5 of their first 9 games in the Bundesliga. Now, they only lost 1, but to drop points in 5 of the first 9, remember, this is a Bayern Leverkusen team that finished last season unbeaten, besides that one, loss that they suffered in the Europa League final to Atalanta. And but this season, they have been struggling for results. Now, in the Champions League, they've been really solid. They can get the ball from one end to the other. They have a good balanced approach to themselves. They can get number forward, and they're just a very, very entertaining football team to watch. And they're heavily reliant on their fullbacks for creativity, for goals. Reminds me of a certain other club that they might be playing against. So I think that game is going to be really, really exciting. But I just think Liverpool, they're just so professional about everything that they do. This game is being played at Anfield. I can't see them slipping. Even with how good, really good Leverkusen is, I think Arsenal, they just, not Arsenal, Liverpool, they just have the quality to get past them. Shakhtar Donetsk, no, not Shakhtar Donetsk. Bologna take on Monaco as well. Sporting, Ruben Amorim Sporting, who's managing one of his last few games, take on City. The big game, though, coming up is Real Madrid taking on AC Milan. AC Milan been a little bit of turmoil this season, up and down. They had high moments in the derby, the Milan derby against Inter, getting that victory. Inter, by the way, has bounced back really good since then. They're sitting second place in Serie A. But it's been up and down for AC Milan. They had that penalty kick incident with Pulisic. They've had some bad results here and there. Paulo Fonseca has been under pressure in moments. And you're going up against Real Madrid, who's a juggernaut in the Champions League, who even when games that they look out, they're still able to find themselves in. I'm really excited to see Christian Pulisic play at the Bernabeu and see if he can make an impact on that biggest of stage. I think that is a huge tell of the growth of maturity if he's able to do that, and it's the growth of his ability and maturity and all that. But if you had to tell me who's going to win this game, obviously it's Real Madrid. This is the Champions League, This is the Champions League. What do you expect me to say? Carlo Ancelotti. The Champions League should be named after Carlo Ancelotti, man. That's how brilliant of a manager he is. And this team it's a very, very good team. They defend really, really well. They have the pace and quality of Vinicius, Mbappe. He's still settling, trying to figure it out. But if you can win a Champions League and you add arguably the best player in the world, it just shows, the quality of the team. And maybe that has a lot to do with it. There's, they're getting players here and there, but they're not solving, or maybe that has something to do with Real Madrid's struggle this season. They're signing the likes of Mbappe and all that, some of the players that will be, the Galacticos, but they didn't really replace that Toni Kroos, the player that's not the most appealing player to watch on DI unless you really know football. Not the most appealing player to watch, but of someone that had a great importance. And I think Real Madrid's struggle so far of the season has a lot to do with that, I have to say. But overall, they're going to beat AC Milan because they're just a better team than AC Milan. Short break here coming up. When we come back, we will react to some of the top headlines going on in the soccer world. Before the break, we discussed some of the Champions League fixtures going on tomorrow. We move on to react to some of the top headlines. And a little bit of shocking developments coming out of the Arsenal camp. We didn't discuss this with the Arsenal-Newcastle game. I saved this for later on. Edu Gaspar, Arsenal's sporting director, Edu Gaspar, has resigned from his position. The club confirmed this on a statement on Monday. Edu, he joined Arsenal in July of 2019. He was the technical director, and he was part of the shift that Arsenal wanted to make that brought in, that allowed the likes of Mikel Arteta to be the manager, and Edu Gaspar has built a team that can compete for the Premier League in the past 2 seasons, and he was also later promoted, became the club's first ever sporting director. Obviously, he has a career playing. He played in the Premier League. He was part of the invincible team under Arsene Wenger, but yeah, he is stepping away. There's also sources that say that he's been approached by other clubs such as Nottingham Forest and Olympiacos owner Evangelos Marincas to be a part of their multi-club group, which will lead to a higher salary. But the big thing is he will not be involved at Arsenal. Edu said this was an incredibly hard decision to make. Arsenal has given me the opportunity to work with so many amazing people and the chance to be a part of something so special in the club's history. I've loved working with so many great colleagues across our men's, women's, and academy teams, especially Mikel, who has become a great friend. Now it's time to pursue a different challenge. Arsenal will always remain in my heart. I wish the club and the supporters only good things and all the very best. Neymar, oh my goodness. He, in his second appearance for Al Hilal, he had to come off in the 58th minute during their 3-0 win in the Asian Champions League elite match. No. He came on the 58th minute of his first game in the 3-0 win over in the Asian Champions League elite match. But later on this yesterday, he ended up being subbed off in less than 30 minutes. After he went to the ground and he started grabbing the back of his right leg, while he was trying to stretch his leg out for a ball, trying to control it, and yeah, obviously that's just so disappointing. This is a Neymar that's gone through so many things, so many injuries, and we just want to see him playing at a top level again, and we don't want these injuries to be a huge effect to continue to happen, because they're just having a bigger and bigger effect the older he gets. But his body is failing him. It really is, and it's really hard to watch, because Neymar has been the third best player of this generation. Not even close. Not even a topic I'm gonna entertain. And to see the way his career is deteriorating compared to his compadres is a little bit of a stretch, but the people that he's trying to reach, the Messis, the Ronaldos, it's two different worlds. That's just a sad reality. It is, and it's disappointing, because I am a Neymar fan, and the only times I see him now in the headline is the fact that he did get injured. It's just sad. It really is. Ruben Amorim, he admitted that he actually considered Manchester City. He said it crossed his mind that he could potentially follow the sporting director of football, Hugo Viana, who's set to go to Manchester City. But he said he was only ever focused on becoming United's new manager. It's just something that crosses your mind, but I've never had my doubts. My decision has been made, and that's the club I want to work for. That's where I want to continue my career as a coach. It crossed my mind, but I decided on the club I wanted, and I didn't want anything else. I wanted Manchester United, and that's what I did. I hope he just grew up a United fan, and he's fulfilling a long dream, childhood dream or something. But because Because choosing Manchester City over Manchester United is that whole concept to me is, or choosing Manchester United over Manchester City is insane. Now, yes, City is not available right now, but there's a chance that it might be. If there's a chance that it might be, no way I'm taking that United job. I'm sitting on it. I'm sitting on it. Because it's just, whenever you make your first big move, that really can elevate you into the highest of ranks of manager if it goes out well, or you have to take a step back and it's damn near impossible to get that step back forward and to get that opportunity to be a leader. So you have to pick and choose. How you go about it. Madrid, they're gonna auction their old Bernabeu lockers for $13,000, which is really, really, really interesting. Carlo Ancelotti, he had an interesting comment saying football has to stop amidst all the Spanish floods. Carlos Ancelotti said, it's been a week of tragedy and we're sad. We're very close to Valencia and all the affected towns. Hopefully it can be resolved soon. Talking about football is difficult, and so is playing football. We are a part of this country and it affects us a lot. Your head isn't in your work. When asked if he had been difficult to prepare, he said, "We are going to prepare for the game because we are professionals. That's what we have to do." There's a lot of players and coaches that said that there's no football, that there should have been no football taking place over the weekend, with Diego Simeone coming out saying that the decision makes no sense, and Ancelotti echoing that statement saying, "Everybody has been clear. Nobody wanted to play, but we are not the ones in charge. Those at the top make the decision. Football is a party, and you can celebrate and have a party when you're okay. When people are not okay, you don't have to party. Football has to stop because it is the most important of the least important things. The power we have is equal to zero. All the coaches wanted to stop the games. Some played, others did not. The decision-making power of the coach in these cases is equal to zero." And yeah. Thank you guys, though, for tuning into the GSMC Soccer Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show or leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.